We got a quick topic. We're gonna be as brief as we can. This is gonna be a short presentation. We might have a couple more shows for you. Hope all is well, peace and abundance. Royal day, royal afternoon, all that great stuff. United States of Africa. Ibram Traore, Captain Ibram Traore. He wants to unite, make Africa one nation. I had a video for you, but the video was a little too long, so so next time I'll have the video for you for part 2, and then it'll probably just be the video, and then that'll probably be that on that show. So let me share this real quick, and matter of fact, I'm not even gonna share it. I'm gonna just get straight to it, and then whoever get it, whoever don't. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gotta start moving with this stuff, man. Being a little more thorough with it. All right. Ibram Traore's United States of Africa, quote unquote, vision. Who is Ibram Traore? Traore became interim leader of Burkina Faso following a coup in September 22nd, leading to patriotic movement and safeguard and restoration (MPSR). On the global stage, he represents himself as a new incarnation of revolutionary Thomas Sankara. So that's why I was saying, your physical manifestations of your whoever's are already walking around in your face, embracing anti-imperialism, national pride, and youthful leadership. His popularity stems from a combination of rhetoric, media savvy, image, and a narrative of tangible change, though critics warn of rising authoritarianism and escalating security crisis. If you research yourself, man, he's pretty much getting everything done. So it's always gonna be somebody to say something to distract you and get you on some fucking stupid shit. Pan-African ambitions and the United States of Africa, quote unquote. While Traore has not explicitly used the term, quote unquote, United States of Africa, end quote, his echo broader Pan-African ideals, a continent united politically, economically, and in self-determination, inspired by icons Sankara and Nkrumah. He frames imperialism not as terrorism, however, a deliberate plunder, calling for a unity to resist it. Traore's government forged a alliance with Senegal states, Sahel states, AES, a regional bloc with Mali and Niger that promotes economic integration, energy interdependence, infrastructure collaboration, and hints at moving away from the CFA franc monetary system, which they already done all of that shit, under the so-called progressive and popular revolution launched in April 2025. Policies include naturalizing key industries, building infrastructure, canceling debt, boosting food sovereignty, and reinforcing regional sovereignty, all aligned with Pan-African unity goals. 3. Concept steps towards unity and self-reliance, incentive, goal and naturalization and refinery, purpose and impact, building the country's first gold refinery, which I think they already done that, suspending artisanal export permits, increasing domestic processing to capture more value, economic growth and infrastructure, GDP growth, agricultural reforms, road works, cement factory, and state-owned dairies, boosting internal capacity and job creation. So pretty much he's doing all of this stuff is pretty much already in the works, already done, already, if already not done, already in the works. Sovereignty and security. expelling French troops, empowering local volunteers for defense of the homeland, VDP, and forging military and civil cooperation with AES neighbors. symbolic revival, honoring Sankara via street renaming and um, inauguration, invoking shared revolutionary imagery to inspire unity, regional mobility, introduction of an AES passport, facilitating easier travel within Sahel states as a step towards integration. Risk, criticism, and roads ahead. Security has deteriorated. Insurgent violence has dramatically increased, which they gonna do that because they just, you know how that's gonna go, fam. But millions displaced and significant portions of the country outside of state control. Accusations and democratic erosion, postponing elections until 2029, silencing critics, and alleged human rights abuse raised concerns about authoritarianism tendencies. Uh, that's the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times. His rising cult of personality bolsters by social media and propaganda may mask deeper institutional weaknesses. So in summary, Eva Traore's envisions an Africa that is far more united, self-sufficient, and sovereign. Although he hasn't explicitly invoked the phrase "quote unquote" United States of Africa, end quote, his policies like the alliance of Sahel states, naturalization of resources, and symbolic gestures strongly reflect the aspirations behind the concept. Under the banner of progressive and popular revolution, Traore seeks to rewrite the narrative of African post-colonial governance, pushing for Pan-African integration, rejecting Western dominance, and revitalizing economic sovereignty. That said, the effectiveness and sustainability of this path are uncertain as Burkina Faso contends with internal instability, human rights concerns, and the change of translating symbolic unity into lasting systems and institutions, which, like I said, if you look it up yourself, fam, all of that stuff is in place and getting done. A truly united state, a truly united Africa, politically and economically integrated in the way leaders like Traore, Thomas Sankara, and Kwame Nkrumah envision would dramatically shift the global balance of power, and the United States will feel the effects in several ways. The economic competition, resource control. Check this out, Africa holds 30% of the world's mineral reserves. Africa holds 30% of the minerals reserves. That's why I say I don't even know why they even fucking with China or any of these other motherfuckers. Anyway, 40% of its gold and most of the critical metal needed for green tech, cobalt, lithium, rare earths, etc. A united Africa could set its own terms for exports, reducing U.S. bargaining power. Trade realignment. The U.S. currently benefits from fragmented African markets via bilateral deals and aid leverage. A united bloc could negotiate as one massive market of 1.4 billion people, forcing Washington to pay higher prices and accept stricter conditions. Manufacturing and industry growth. If Africa processes more raw materials domestically instead of exporting them cheaply, the U.S. could lose access to low-cost inputs that fuel its tech and energy industries. Geopolitical influence. Reduce U.S. political leverage. Washington currently wields influence by supporting individual African governments, offering aid and military training programs, which, they just... A united Africa could push out foreign military bases, which they don't need to do shit with them niggas. You know what I'm saying? With these motherfuckers over here. Align militarily and limit U.S. intervention. New alliances. A unified Africa might deepen ties with BRICS nations, China, Russia, Brazil, India, or form its own powerful bloc, making the U.S. less central in global diplomacy. So when a lot of this stuff occurs, man, within the next few years, man, I told y'all that dollar's gonna drop, drastically. So I mean, it is what it is. Uh, Voting power in the UN: 54 African nations currently have separate votes. Unity would make that one coordinated vote a political megaphone on global issues. Currency and financial systems disruption challenge challenge to the U.S. dollar. If Africa adopted a single currency backed by its mineral wealth, which I was telling y'all, this shit over here is not backed by anything. Gold, oil, cobalt, etc. It could rival the dollar in trade, especially with resource dependent countries. Debt interdependence. A united Africa could reject IMF, World Bank structural adjustment policies, often US aligned, weakening one of Washington's main economic levers. Military and strategic changes. Less access to African bases. The U.S. uses African soil for anti-terrorism, surveillance, and naval positioning. A united Africa could revoke those rights and demand higher rents or strategic concessions. Defense alliances. If Africa formed a strong continental defense pact, foreign powers like the U.S. would think twice before military interventions. Cultural and ideological shift. Loss of soft power monopoly. U.S. media, education exchanges, and cultural influence are powerful tools in Africa. A united Africa could produce and promote its own media narratives, shifting cultural influence away from American norms. They really need to do that. A the fuck out. Rise of Afrocentrism, and Pan-Africanism. This could weaken the appeal of Western models of governance and capitalism, especially among the African diaspora in the U.S. In short, a united Africa would mean economically higher costs and tougher trade negotiations for the U.S. Politically, less leverage over African states. Strategically, reduced military reach in the region. Financially, potential threats to dollar dominance. Culturally, a rival global narrative to Western liberalism. If Africa acted as one powerful nation, the U.S. would face a partner that could no longer be easily divided or economically pressured. A true peer competitor in global politics. Conclusion. What a united Africa would mean for the U.S. A fully united Africa represents one of the most significant geopolitical shifts in modern history, fundamentally altering the U.S. global position. Economically, it would consolidate the world's richest source base under a single negotiating body, raising prices, demanding fairer trade terms, and ending the U.S.'s long-standing advantage of dealing with fragmented markets. Politically, Washington's ability to influence African policy through aid, diplomacy, and military presence would be drastically reduced as a unified Africa could speak with one voice and align with alternative power blocks like BRICS. Finally, a strong African currency backed by resource wealth could challenge the U.S. dollar global dominance, while debt interdependence or whatever would weaken Africa, will weaken American leverage through institutions like IMF and World Bank. Strategically, U.S. military operations would face stricter limits, and the loss of bases would reduce Washington's ability to project power across the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. Culturally, a united Africa could reshape global narratives, promote Afrocentric values, and compete with American media influence, inspiring stronger Pan-African identity both on the continent and among the diaspora. In short, such unity would transform Africa from a region often subject to U.S. influence into an equal geopolitical power, forcing the U.S. to deal with Africa as a true partner, not a collection of dependent states. All right, y'all. So this is going on. This is happening. I'll have the video for you on the next one. I'm working it out. We got some comments coming through. Tonight is Who You With Wednesdays. I don't know what the topic is yet. I'm not sure what Empress Star is going to do as far as the topic. I think that's 9 p.m. Eastern. Coming through here. I'm the co-host. I got another show for you right after this. Not right after this, but a few minutes after this. Yeah. Go check out Sacred Space as well. That's Moon Days. Moon Day coming up next Moon Day. She has a great topic for you. That's a space for all women space created for the women, divine feminine energies, to elevate and get everything out and all that other stuff. So hope all is well. Let's check these comments real quick and we the fuck up out of here. Empress Star, taking you far no matter where you are. Gratitude for the participation. Yes, it's time to move as one body / one nation. This is what balanced divine masculine energy looks like. Gratitude. All right, y'all. This is it for the show. Like I told you, this one gonna be very brief. I'm gonna see what we doing next. More than likely, Empress Star be starting off the next show, so you'll hear her voice first, and I'll probably end it off. All right. So guess what? Cosmik UV.